I'm moving so much.
See, I didn't freeze.
I didn't move any.
But you know,
Never froze.
I did for a second. I couldn't help.
I froze. Too late.
Welcome to Good Mythical Moors. We're going to be introducing something right now today. Good Mythical S'mores. Everybody break out your, oh, that's not today. Sorry.
Oh, hold on. Listen, you're maybe onto something though. What?
Good Mythical S'mores?
Keep going with this. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm
Really?
listening. I'm perking up.
We did a whole episode where we reinvented s'mores. Don't you remember what we put in them?
No.
Those were Good Mythical S'mores.
That was last season.
What was in them? Somebody remember.
You had beef jerky.
Yep.
Wait, one was a Smeat.
Yep.
And
Smeat.
the other one had gummy bears.
Mm-hmm.
And I just blacked out.
Every season I wipe the slate clean. But Good Mythical S'more. What did that mean to you just then?
When I said Good Mythical Moors, I put an S on it just to be stupid.
Someone is eating a
And then I was
s'more
like,
right now,
if
and
I
they're
had a-
freaking out.
If I had to put an S on the front of it, how many people are eating s'mores right now in the world? Let's do the calculation.
And while we're doing the calculation, I want everyone to prepare what they're, like, you got to pick your favorite hobby. And I'm not talking about a collection. It can't be a collection. It has to be a hobby.
At any given point, I would say the average person goes camping once every 2 years. There's let's just say there's 7 billion people on the planet, right? So in any given day, that means that there is a let's just say 1 in 700 chance that any person on the planet is going, 1 in 700 chance anyone is camping on a particular day. So 7 billion.
But hold on, there's a 100% chance that someone's camping.
You're not, I don't think you're following what I'm saying.
I'm not. Too many numbers already.
So there are 7 billion people on the planet. And at any given day.
That's 7 million. 7 billion.
Oh, it can't accept a billion?
7 million. 0, 0.
It can't accept a billion.
I think it's in there. Just, we're going to have to use a computer.
Divided by.
If I do an extended calculator here.
1 divided by 700.
You're bogging us down with all this math.
A million. So on any given day, there are 1 million people on the planet who are camping, right? And then how long?
Correct. And there's a 100% chance
of
that.
So there's 1 million people camping right now. How many people are eating s'mores right now? How long does it take to eat a s'more? When you go camping, it takes 30 minutes to eat a s'more. That's 1 in 48 out.
It's a chewy s'more.
That's 1/48 of the day. No, like when you're sitting down and
Like
you're
the
doing
process
the s'more
of s'moring.
Half-hour s'more time, right?
Yeah.
That's 1/48 of the day.
Until someone gets their eye poked out.
So 1 million divided by 1 divided by 48 equals, there are 20,833.3 people eating s'mores right now on Earth.
And they're all watching. None of them are watching.
No, and what
That's
percentage of them are watching?
But not zero.
No, we can do the math.
No,
we can do the math, man.
Listen. Who watches GMM while making s'mores and while camping? Nobody.
Let's just say that
there's nobody on Earth doing this.
Let's
I'm
just
so
say,
disappointed.
let's just round to 1 million people. Okay, 1 million people watch the show.
How many of them watch the show while camping?
Hold on, look, we are gonna figure out how many people are doing this.
0.
So 1 million divided by 7 billion. So that's that percentage times, what did I say? 20,833 equals.
30
there are
people.
30 people eating s'mores watching this show right now. There are 30 freaking people eating s'mores right now watching this show.
Well,
how is that even possible?
It's not. None of them. I know. I can't give you what you want right now because the answer is 0.
You think there's 0 people? I guarantee you there's 30 people.
But no, because they're going to comment. If you're eating a s'more right now,
you probably don't watch the internet when you go camping.
I said that 5 minutes ago.
No, but I had service when I went camping. I watched lots of internets.
So, hobbies. Favorite hobby? Let me hear it. Puzzles.
Puzzles?
Daniela's
I'm an old lady.
favorite hobby is puzzles. Are we talking like 500 piece puzzles?
Oh, no. I'm talking like 1,000 and more. 1,000 plus, 1,500, lots of colors.
You do this by yourself or with other people?
By myself. People don't, because I'm like moved on. You know, most people do like the border first. I don't want to do that. It's too easy. So I just do it blank without seeing what the puzzle looks like and just kind of like piecing together similar colors.
While doing something else?
Listening to music, always.
Listening to music?
Yeah, zone out, listen to music, and puzzle. And knit.
And knit.
You puzzle and knit at the same time?
You ever knitted a booby?
I've never knitted a booby, but maybe I will.
You ever put together
Educational
a
purposes
puzzle,
only.
A booby puzzle?
A booby knit puzzle would probably be the coolest thing ever. So
What about the 3D puzzles? How do you feel about those?
I don't like them.
Yeah, they
3D
suck.
puzzles are terrible because they don't fit right, and they're actually really boring because
they're-
it's buildings
they're
all
a-
the same color. And
You're on the front side of the curve. I mean, they're gonna come together. They're
They
gonna be
haven't
amazing.
come together yet, man.
Oh, they're
You're
they're
a fellow
still on the.
puzzle enthusiast, right?
They're still being.
Do you have 3D puzzles at your house?
No, because they haven't. The technology's not ready for it.
What kind of tech does it need, man? It's not like it needs a battery.
Puzzle cutting technology is not refined enough. What other hobbies?
I used to play a lot of Risk.
I used to play a lot of Risk. Anybody else?
I played a lot of Risk too back in the day.
Kevin played a lot of
It's a
Risk.
family tradition in my house every New Year's. Because it takes like 8 hours to play. Like,
Yeah.
8 out, yeah.
It's
It's like,
a- it's
I just
quite a
cannot
commitment.
handle it.
and my dad always won. One time I was like this close to beating him.
Start in Australia. You never lose.
So you cared for 8
South
hours.
America.
Yeah, it was really
Nope.
into
The risky. That's risky.
No, you
Ha,
can start,
get it?
You can start in South America. You can still win. Australia is best because you have one.
Don't
land.
try to get the U.S.
No.
North America is all losing strategy.
Well, and never start a land war in Asia, right?
I didn't think that anything could disengage me more from the conversation than that math Rhett was doing earlier. But
Yeah, I
talking
can
about
tell.
risk.
Every time you checked into
Definitely
the
doesn't.
equation, there's no point of reference that you can make any sense of. Wow. Okay. Link doesn't like risk. Link doesn't like math. Who else has a hobby?
But it's not about me.
They're not I mean, reading, I was going to say, but that really is exciting. We have
Stevie's
puzzling.
hobby is reading.
I don't think
What
are you reading currently?
I don't think reading is a hobby.
I'm not currently reading anything.
Reading is a hobby.
I don't think reading is a hobby.
It is because I don't do it.
Reading is a pastime.
Okay, you're right.
Collection.
Those are the
What's the
same.
difference between a pastime and a hobby?
I feel like hobby has to be something that the majority of the population doesn't engage in on a regular basis.
Well,
That-
I mean,
So
a lot of people don't read, to be honest.
I mean, a hobby that everybody does is just something that everybody does. Is it really? It's you know what I'm saying? A hobby that everybody does is like, well, I like to read. I guess that's my hobby. I'm not saying it's technically.
You're
not
like
a hobby.
saying like I like to drive,
Yeah. Driving is a hobby? No, driving is something that everyone does.
Well,
but
what
no,
about
it could be your hobby. It's like Sunday driving.
biker, could that be your, like
If you're a speed
if you're
reader-
a biker chase.
If
that's
your
a
hobby is speed reading, okay, that's a hobby.
All right.
no, it's not. That's a
What
skill.
about sports?
Yeah.
Is that considered a hobby?
Sports are not a
What
hobby.
if my hobby
Unless
is trying to be
unless they're an
1%
obscure
of my
sport.
workout class?
Like
Like
high
diving?
diving obscure enough? Like
Like
does it
what?
Count that like lock dives.
Diving's not a hobby.
Okay.
But listen, but listen, hold on. He doesn't know what he's talking about because he said there's a difference between a hobby and a pastime, and then you defined away things that were hobbies with things that are not pastimes
Okay.
either. So what's a pastime? Something you can do. On
I'm
the
not
toilet?
saying that a hobby and a pastime. That was the wrong distinction. I'm saying that I think the requirement for a hobby is something that is a little bit obscure, and that isn't something that a majority of people do. Something that doesn't have like a isn't like recognized. Like if you are like
Rhett,
Like-
would you like a definition?
No,
like
not
frisbee.
yet. Not
Like
yet, because I have a definition.
like frisbee, throwing a frisbee.
I don't want to get the answer yet, is what I'm saying. But I do want the answer. We've talked about this. We talked about this when we were putting this episode together. It's like, what's a hobby? To me, a hobby is something that you can do by and large by yourself. That was the thing I put out there.
No, I agree with you. I think
So it's
doing
not a
it by
sport.
yourself is
Risk.
helpful.
I don't know if
Frisbee isn't a hobby.
Risk is a game.
But boomerang is.
Risk is a game. It's not a hobby.
board game is a game.
Reading is a pastime.
Reading is a
Driving is something that you just have to do.
Collections are a form
Surfing.
of hobby.
Woo! Surfing.
If you're not competing, it's if you're surfing, if there's no scoring involved, surfing is a hobby.
Surfing has
Just because you guys do it.
if you're diving,
Street bikes is a hobby.
Oh, you know what? Okay, no. You know what it is? Your relationship to the thing determines whether it's a hobby.
If you're
That's
way
it.
too into cars,
My son is not a hobbyist diver. Oh, because he's like, I'm a hobbyist. No, my son does it 6 days a week. He's a diver.
Model trains.
But if I were to start
Hobby.
diving, I would be a hobbyist, and I would have to enjoy it. You have to enjoy it. You have to be energized by it. You have to be most likely to do it by yourself, and you can't be a professional, and you can't be paid.
You can't compete.
It can't be competitive.
If you're like model trains is my hobby.
But then you start competing with model
and
trains.
then you start winning trophies.
No more hobby.
If there's a trophy in there, I don't know. You're on the border of
You're
losing
no longer
your
a
hobby.
hobbyist.
You're gonna lose your love for it when you gain your trophies.
Yes, exactly.
Wait, what about running like the Boston Marathon and then the New York City Marathon? Like, what if you
If you get too good, you're no longer a hobbyist.
Nobody wins marathons, so yeah, it's a hobby.
That's not true.
Only one person wins. There's two different types of marathon runners. There's the hobbyist, and then there's the athletes. Not athletes. The competitors.
And like smelling a marker like this,
that's a hobby.
that's not a hobby.
It is a hobby.
No, that's like a mild drug thing.
Let me smell it though.
That's called huffing. That's not a hobby. You can't say huffing is a hobby,
No,
and we shouldn't even be doing it.
Huffing is for liquids. This is just sniffing.
Don't sniff markers. I was doing it as a demonstration. Do not do this. There's nothing in it. But and then if it's just something stupid like, oh, here's what I do for a hobby. I take a piece of paper and I rub it on my right cheek. And I do it all the time.
That's therapy.
Too obscure. That's a tick. That's just a tick. That's not a hobby. Well, what we're discovering is that hobby is what's the real definition? Very narrow.
A hobby is a regular activity that is done for enjoyment, typically during one's leisure time.
Alone. Without a score.
Without
Hobbies
being
can
paid.
include collecting
No.
themed items and objects,
Yep.
engaging in creative and artistic pursuits, playing sports,
Nope.
or pursuing other
It
amusements.
can be playing sports as long as it's not competitive and you don't have to wear a uniform.
If there's a, yeah.
when you put a uniform on, it's not a hobby anymore. Get over
What about
yourself.
like a city league basketball team?
I don't know.
We got to talk about things that exist.
The
Drew.
city league.
What even is that?
That is the thing.
No,
City league.
they have that like here in LA. Like I don't know. That's
have
that's
Burbank.
recreation.
I refuse to believe that those exist because I'll feel guilty for not being involved.
Okay.
Okay, let's say they do exist.
They do exist.
City league basketball.
I think that's the answer.
That's a hobby.
What do you do for fun? I play basketball for city league. I wouldn't call it a hobby because
Why not? I'm not gonna go play for the NBA because I'm terrible.
but you could. Here's the problem. Once you
Are you
start,
in the city league basketball?
once you get in the city league,
I don't know. Am I?
It's-
Is it real? Is it fake?
do they keep
Good
score?
question.
Of course they keep score.
Not a hobby.
Oh come on.
Whittling, hobby. Definitely.
Are you whittling? What are you?
But
whittling?
as soon as you enter the whittling contest, no longer a hobby.
Are you just whittling for the sake of? Are you making something?
You're doing whittling for fun.
What does that mean though? Are you making a horse for a child?
Yeah.
You can do that. That's
I
acceptable.
think you can be a pro and it can be a hobby. Like I think
If you do a hobby
Michael
long enough,
Jordan,
you
he
become a
liked
pro
it
at
so
it.
much.
But you can't
just
get
happened to
paid.
be a
No,
pro, like, it
it's
was just
clear
a
you
hobby.
cannot get
He
paid,
wasn't
Alex.
working. He wasn't working. He was
If you
just-
get paid for your hobby, it's not a hobby.
Well,
it's a job.
One time Shepard told me winning is my hobby.
I don't even try at it. It just happens.
That's when he got first place at his first diving thing. We were like, Shepard, how do you feel? He's like, winning is my hobby. It's like, okay, that's a good attitude.
All right,
that's the
listen.
McLaughlin way.
Can I level set a little bit here? Listen, we've talked.
Level set.
We've talked about a lot. That's what we used to say at IBM.
Yeah, it's such
It's
a
such a
corporate
corporate
word.
term.
Can I level set and do this hand motion?
Can I level set so we can get a hard out on this meeting?
Careful.
That's what they would say. They say, "I got a hard out."
Yeah, careful.
Means I gotta run out of this meeting
Yeah. Pronto.
backwards. Like, I guess forwards. So, you know.
Yeah.
Can we level set here? We've said a lot of
We've offended a lot of people.
conflicting things about hobbies today.
Yeah.
And we just want to go on record and say that, yes, it is difficult to know what's a hobby. And what's a hobby to me may not be a hobby to you. And though we've taken a very authoritarian stance when it comes to what hobbies are, we've also been asserting a sliding scale of what hobbies are.
No, we're zeroing in
So,
on what a hobby is.
though,
My hobby is to zero in on what a hobby is.
so we just want to give you freedom and to explore hobbies. regardless of the definition, and we also want to let ourselves off the hook from scrutiny over what you think about anything that we or anyone over off camera has said today.
And if you respond to this by making some mean comments about how we're just a couple of tools that don't know anything about hobbies, and we've crapped all over whatever you thought was a hobby.
Yeah.
Just know that commenting on this video over and over again, that's not a hobby. It's not. I mean,
right.
You can do it a lot. You can do it repeatedly, and you can do it in a way that makes you feel good, and you can do it in your leisure time, but it is not a hobby. It's just a thing that you're doing.
And
no effect, really.
Right. I agree. And yeah, my shirt's too tight. I probably won't wear it again.
Yeah. My hobby is cutting Link out of his shirts after every show.
Do it right now. Do it. Get some freaking scissors.
Well, I don't have them.
Get some scissors.
We're
running out of time.
You seriously don't want the shirt anymore?
Yeah, just cut it from the back in case I change my mind.
Are you joking?
No, it's your hobby, man.
I will cut. Hey, listen. Do you think this shirt's too small? Because there's no going back.
That's how it. Yeah, it's too. Look at it.
I'm cutting you out of it.
The deals at Baby Gap are incredible.
Every show I do this.
We just usually don't film it.
And then I just do this. Arms out, buddy. Arms forward. Arms forward. And then I just go like this.